especially to you new families. My name is Casey Scarce. If you haven't met me in person yet, I'm sure we've talked on the phone or we've emailed each other, but I'm so sorry that we cannot meet in person just yet. Normally I plan a new parent, new family orientation, and this is going to be in place of that almost. I wanted to give some information just for you new families before school starts. Mrs. Kenya is going to be sending out a bunch of information around our COVID planning, how the school day is going to actually look, what we're doing now this summer to prepare for your students to come back starting August 24th, and what we're looking at for the rest of the year. But right now it is just about you guys, our new families. I wanted to welcome you to our Sacred Heart community and let you know how excited we are to welcome you and your family, your whole family. I know some of you are probably a little overwhelmed, but that is okay. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help. I've only been here for about 2 years, so I'm new at this too, and we're going to be learning together. That's what I've been telling everybody. So congratulations for making it to the first step of enrolling your students. That's the hardest part, is getting all that paperwork in. This video and the attached resources to this page are strictly for you, like I said. In this webpage, there is a virtual tour that I recorded back in November of 2019. As you can see, nobody's wearing masks, nobody's social distancing, so you can really tell the difference, but it does give you a little gist of what our day-to-day life is here at Sacred Heart. Obviously, it's going to look a whole lot different, and I won't get into the details here. Like I said, Mrs. Kenya is going to be sending out all that information, and you'll be getting a little more on that soon. You'll also find our parent-student handbook. It is currently being updated, one, because we have accreditation this year, and two, because we had never included anything about social distancing or our COVID unit. So we're trying to update that to make it look and adhere better to what this year will be. You will also see an infographic, if you haven't seen it, floating around on social media about what we're doing this summer to prepare for your students to come back, and some other information. And you will also see a PDF labeled health forms. I've sent this to most of you that I don't have student health records for, mainly the immunization record and a physical exam within the past year. Most of those come through on transcripts if your student has been enrolled in another school previously, but if your student is especially a entering kindergarten student, I'll need that information updated. But I think I've reached out to everybody at this point to get that. But if you haven't, please print out that health form and get your child's primary physician to fill that out as soon as possible. I really need it before the first day of school. Lastly, like I said, I normally schedule new family orientation at this point, but since we really can't be together in person, I think this will suffice. And like I said, you'll be getting a whole lot more information thrown at you within the next couple of weeks. One thing that we're trying to plan right now, as I record this video, nothing has been confirmed yet. We are trying to plan an open house, a back-to-school open house for our returning families and new families. So I think that will suffice as well in getting you more information and meeting your child's teacher for this year. So normally this would be in person, like I said. I have a slideshow that I put together that I'm also putting on this page for you. It's going to contain a little more information directed at new families. So I wanted to just go through that together so we're all on the same page. And as always, if you have any questions, you can always contact me through email or through the office phone, and I'll give you that information in just a second. All right, so I wanted to normally start off with introducing you to our administrative team. That just means the people that work in the front office and then Father Jonathan. So if you haven't met her yet, our principal is Miss Kira Kenya. She is always available. The one thing I love about Mrs. Kenya is she knows every single family. She knows every single student by name. She knows every single teacher's strengths and weaknesses and knows how to pair them so we can build off of each other. She's a great leader and she's a great principal. So never be afraid to reach out to her with any concerns you have with your student, your student's teacher, with anything that's going on in our school, because we really don't know what to fix if we don't know what's wrong. The next person is Miss Galden. Miss Sarah Galden is our IT and technology instructor. She does all of the website, works with our RenWeb and Family Portal, which I'll talk more about in just a second. We also have that one-to-one technology program this year, so all of your students will be either getting a Google tablet or a Google laptop. And if it does come to it that we have to return to distance learning, your students will still be able to utilize those pieces of technology at home. The next person you're probably going to talk to more than anybody in the front office after school starts is Miss Mary Jane Coble. She is our scholarship coordinator, our tuition director. She helps me a lot with admissions. She was the previous admissions director, and she also takes care of all of our human resources for the staff. She's the person you're going to go to with any tuition questions, any financial aid questions. She'll help you set up your payment plan if you haven't already. If you have any issues with anything regarding tuition, she is the lady that you will need to go to. So I know that her phone constantly stays busy. And then there's me. I am enrollment and development. So if you have any questions about anything with admissions or re-enrollment, I try to plan a bunch of events as much as I can. I get a lot of feedback on how we're doing with this enrollment process, so please let me know. And I also do development. So normally we do an annual auction, an annual golf tournament, and this year it's going to look a little different, so stay tuned for volunteer opportunities. The next person you're probably going to see more than anyone is Miss Myrna. She is our front office guru. She does a lot of things. She teaches Spanish to our younger levels. She's labeled as our administrative assistant, but she does so much more. If you ever call the front office, she's the first person you're going to talk to. If you ever come into the office for anything, she's the first person you're going to talk to. If your student is running late to school, she's the first person they're going to talk to. She is a whiz and very helpful. So like I said, same thing, never be afraid to ask her questions. She'll point you in the right direction. Miss Angie Crumpler is our assistant principal. She also teaches middle school courses as well. She mainly does 8th grade. That's her homeroom class. So your 8th grade students, once they reach middle school and get to their graduation year, she plots out their 8th grade trip, all of the graduation ceremonies. She also helps with middle school dances and different activities that, you know, middle schoolers like to be cool with. And she's really fun. She's a lot of fun, very personable. Same thing. If you ever have any questions, especially if your student is going into middle school, she is the person you can ask. And then lastly is our Father Jonathan. He is the pastor over at the church. We are very blessed to have a church connected to our school. We are one of the few schools in our diocese that has that. And we are very blessed to have that opportunity to be so close to him. And he is a really great resource, not only for our students, but for our staff. And if you are not Catholic or do not attend our church, you are more than welcome to reach out to him. Not only is he here for moral support, but he's here for any other questions or concerns you have with our school program. I wanted to get into a little bit about our Family Portal and RenWeb. This is where you can really find anything that's going on with your student while they're at school. The main thing is going to be lunch, how to order lunch, and I'll get to that in just a second. But as you can see here, you'll be able to see your students' lesson plans. Obviously, there's nothing pulled up now because it's midsummer, but when school starts, this is where you can go to see if your student's teacher has posted anything. You'll also be able to access your student's report card at family portal, we send out an email letting everyone know that report cards are up at the end of the quarter or semester. The only time that you're not going to be able to see your report card is if you have an outstanding balance. So that could be from a lunch account or overdue library book, or when we return to athletic events, if your student has an outstanding athletic fee, then we're going to block that until you have your account paid off, and then you'll be able to access your report card. So just stay in financial good standing. And like I said, if you ever have an issue with that, you're more than welcome to reach out with us. We want to make it work for you. And lastly, lunch is probably the most important part of the day. It's very easy to order lunch for your child. If you are ordering lunch this year, I'll talk a little bit more in depth about what lunch is going to look like. Your student is more than welcome to bring their own lunch. And like I said, I'll get into that detail in just a minute. But here's where you can order your student's lunch for the day. All you'll need to do is click on the lunch tab, go to the day or the week that you're ordering for. You can order for the whole week if you'd like to. But just be sure to click that Create Web Order and put in your order and save it. You can also pay for your lunch on this program, or your student or you can send in money and you'll just give it to Miss Coble at the beginning of the day so she can put it in your account. Or we'll just charge you and you can pay it at the end of the quarter or the semester. If you have any questions about payments, though, please reach out to Mary Jane. This is kind of what your order form is going to look like. We have different vendors that we reach out from, and I'll talk about that in a little bit too. But please know that your child's teacher is going to look at their roster each morning to see who ordered lunch and who didn't. Especially for the younger ones, they're going to make sure that if they didn't order lunch, they brought a lunch from home. And say your student didn't order lunch, forgot their lunch at home, the teacher is going to make sure, hey, do you want to order lunch today since you forgot it? Or do you want to go call mom and dad to see if they can bring you lunch? We really need to have those orders in by 9 a.m., especially because we're using outside vendors so they can make sure that all the orders are in. So regardless of if you are ordering or your student is bringing their lunch, please make sure that you know that window to order lunch is going to close at 9 a.m. each morning. We have a lot of families that reach out to us that'll call at like 10:30, 11 and be like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot my student's lunch. And most times, I'm not going to say all the time, most times we order a few extras but don't guarantee it. So just keep that in mind. 9 a.m. is the cutoff time. So be sure that you're ordering at least a week in advance, I think would be easiest. And of course, there's always an app for this family portal. You can go, if you have a smartphone, I have an iPhone, so I refer to the App Store. Go to the App Store and type in RenWeb Home. It'll pull up. It costs about $5 a year, which isn't bad, and you can still access it from your phone. If you're like me, though, I just pull it up on my laptop and go with it, but it's whatever is easiest for you. You have the option there. Okay, getting into more of the day-to-day stuff outside of lunch, which is very important. Our arrival is going to look different this year. I know it's first time for you, but you'll notice that some things are going to be might be a little slower this year because we're trying something new. Obviously, with social distancing, we're going to have to do a few screenings before our students and staff come into the building. So we're starting arrival at 7:45 this year. You have plenty of time to get here. The rule that I tell parents is students need to be seated, bottom in seat by 8:15 a.m. 8:30 is you're late. You are late, and Miss Myrna will give your student a tardy ticket to take to their teacher. Especially on Wednesdays, we have mass every Wednesday morning, and that starts promptly at 8:30. So be sure that you or whoever is bringing your students to school has them here by 8:15, especially this year, like I said, because we are going to have to do those screenings at the beginning of the day. And parents, especially with your younger students, you unfortunately will not be able to walk them into the school this year. I know that's going to be a little hard for some of my younger students with parents, but I promise you, all of our teachers and staff on site, we are here to make the transition easy. It's going to be really hard on everybody, but we are here to help you through it, and we will make sure that your students are very well taken care of while they're in our care here at school. We are going to be using different entrances for different grade levels, and I'm not going to get into that right now because it's very, not very detailed, but more information is going to be sent, and I don't want to overwhelm you right now. Just look out for an email by Mrs. Kenya with the COVID plan, and that information will be in there. Moving on to uniforms, I've been getting a lot of questions about uniforms. My rule of thumb with uniforms that I always tell parents is white collared polo shirt, black pants, closed-toed shoes, and socks. You can't go wrong. Your kid won't be in trouble. If the shirt is a little bigger, it will need to be tucked in, especially for my fellas, and normally a belt needs to be worn. As you can see, we have some different variations for our girls from K to 4th and then 5th to 8th. Like I said, this slideshow will be attached to this page, so you don't have to write all of this down right now. And you'll also be getting a newsletter coming beginning of August with the same information. If you ever have a question, though, I know a lot of people are shopping right now, please don't be afraid to call or email. I also get pictures of items saying, hey, is this going to be okay? Just let me know. If you err on the side of caution, you're going to be okay. The first few weeks, we also take it into consideration for new families, and we'll just tell your students or you or whoever comes to pick up your student at the end of the day, hey, that's not part of the dress code. Might want to look into this instead. We're not going to take out any disciplinary action those first couple of weeks. Once again, snack and lunch, very important parts of the day. Your students can bring a light snack to school. Obviously this year, please make sure it is something easy to open because they will be in the classrooms a lot of the day. And make sure it's not something too messy because our teachers can't really get close to your students to help them, one, open it, or two, clean it up for them. Please don't send microwavable lunches. They didn't have access to a microwave before this year, and obviously this year they will be eating in the classroom, so they really won't have access to a microwave. And make sure that it's not something that has to be refrigerated. It's easier for your student, and it's easier for our teachers who are going to have to be our lunch ladies this year. Like I said before, lunch money will be kept in an account, and if you have an outstanding balance, it's normally sent in an email every Sunday saying, hello, whatever your name is, you have a balance of $40 that you can pay on RenWeb. And as your student charges, say they order lunch every morning, as your student gets charges, that amount will build up and you can pay it at the end of the semester, end of quarter, or on your family portal account whenever it's convenient for you. This was our menu for last year with our outside vendors. We had Western Sizzlin', Chick-fil-A, San Marcos, Bojangles, and then Delano's Pizza. I haven't gotten the official lunch menu at this point, and as soon as I do, I will post it on this webpage and then send it out through email to you. Once again, please just note that students will be eating lunch in their classroom, So just make it easier for everybody involved if you can, if you're packing lunch, and make sure it's easy to open, something that's doesn't have to be refrigerated or microwaved. If your student is ordering lunch from our outside vendors, it will be individually wrapped as soon as it gets to school, and then it will be individually brought to them in their classroom. Dismissal is going to look different this year. I know for you it's going to be new for the family, but we're going to be dismissing certain grade levels at certain times. This will not only help with the traffic outside of the school, but it will also help us maintain that social distancing for our students as they're leaving the building. So please arrive at the school and get in line as close to these times as possible so we can avoid having those long lines that go all the way out to Central Boulevard. When Mrs. Kenya sends out her COVID plan, this will be more detailed and written out. But if you cannot make it to these times for dismissal, we do have an after-school option. That is our after-school program. It runs from 3:15 to 5:30. We will not be offering it the first week because we're trying to get so many other things underfoot. So please keep that in mind. If you are interested in an after-school program, please go fill out the after-school application, which is attached to this web page, and turn it in as soon as possible. You can email it to me. You can bring it into the school front office, or you can wait until that first week of school and have your student bring it in with their other information. Right now, unfortunately, we're not planning on having any after-school activities just because we don't, social distancing, we're not really sure how that's going to look. But if things ever go back to, quote, normal, these are the activities that we normally offer. And your student can sign up for them. Normally it's different programs for different grade levels. We do have a lot of athletic events, and an athletic fee will be attached for uniforms and travel costs. We do compete against other schools for our athletic teams, and we do get to travel a little bit just to like Lynchburg, South Boston. Normally we have very consistent volunteer opportunities, but as you see the theme here, because of COVID, those are going to look a little different this year. Normally we would require 15 hours per family, and that's over a year. It's very easy to acquire because we have so many events. Our PTO throws a fall fling. Like I said, I have an auction and a golf tournament. There'll be different parties for different classrooms, cafeteria help, teacher help, things like that. But because this year we don't really know what that's going to look like, we are obviously being very lenient. The one thing that we are asking everyone do, not as volunteer, but just in honor of giving back to the school, we're just asking for a lot of prayers. If you pray, whoever you pray to, we just need a lot of prayers right now. And normally with our volunteer hours, we have a Veritas online session. Veritas is part of our safe environment training. So every volunteer will have to complete a session before you can come into the building, go on that field trip, volunteer for that opportunity. This is based around how to keep our children safe from adult predators, how to identify those predators, how to talk to your children about keeping themselves safe and speaking up for themselves, and how to speak up for our children. This is all going to be online now, and as soon as I get more information from Mrs. Kenya about how this will be set up, I will forward it to you. But like I said, we are not really taking volunteers right now because of the social distancing. So please stay tuned for more information. Lastly, just a few little things. We send out a weekly newsletter. It will be sent to your email every Wednesday, and it will also be posted on our website every Wednesday. So please make sure that your email is updated in our system. If you need me to change it, if you have not been receiving my emails, please let me know, because this is the mainstream form of communication that we do use is to your parent email. So be on the lookout for a newsletter. It'll have things with upcoming events or just news alerts or little things that we need your currently enrolled parents to know. We also have a text alert system, so if there's ever a snow day or we're doing an early dismissal and you just need a nice little reminder that you have to come pick up your student early, we'll send out that text alert to your cell phone, but please make sure your cell phone number is updated in our system. Or you can call Myrna at the front desk and say, hello, I would like to be a part of the text alert. It was in your enrollment packet, but if you don't remember what you put, just give us a call and say whether or not you would like that. And like I said, most information, a bunch of information is sent through email and posted to our website. We are not only trying to save the environment by saving how much paper we print off, but it tends to get lost in transition from your student's book bag to home. So it's just an easier way for us to streamline that form of communication. A couple of other questions that I get asked every year is about our religion classes and our Mass. All of our students will take a religion course. We are a Catholic school, and they are slightly graded on that. It's nothing that's going to tip the scales, but just be prepared for that. And then, like I said, every Wednesday is Mass with Father Jonathan. It's always very beautiful and refreshing, and our Catholic students and staff will take communion, while other students and staff who are not Catholic will just get a nice blessing every Wednesday by Father. So this year, like I said, it's going to be whirlwind. It's going to be fun. It's going to be cool. It's going to be memorable more than anything. But just know that we are here for you. You can contact us, like I said, anytime. I'm constantly checking my emails thanks to nice little Apple Watches and iPhones. So please let me know if I missed anything or if you have any other questions. I think I covered everything, but like I said, it's just going to be a crazy fun year. So thank you for being here with us. We're so excited to have you. Can't wait to see everybody's smiling face on August 24th. Bye.